Hi, I'm Chantel Cohen, and I hope you become one again. And today we are talking about sex again, guys. And I had a few comments from my last video about sex drives and about whether women have less of a sex drive than men. And I got an unusual comment where someone said, well, women are hiding it really well if their sex drive is just as high. So I thought I would address that, and I thought I'd make today's topic about how to get your wife, your lover, your partner, your girlfriend to want to have sex with you. And this is for any heterosexual couple as well as same-sex couple. So we're not discriminating here. I'm hoping that this will be enough information so that you'll feel comfortable using some of the techniques, if not all. So let's just talk about, is it true that women don't want to have sex with their partners or their sex drive is lower? It's not true, as I discussed in the video. But it does mean that there are things that women need maybe to want to or to become aroused. And a lot of those things are happening outside of the bedroom. And that is the big takeaway I want you to have from today's video, is a lot of the things that you're going to be doing are taking place outside of the bedroom, not in the bedroom. And so I want you to think about, first, there's love languages, which most of you have read and I've read, and it's a super helpful book. And I want you to think about, well, what is your partner's love language? Is their love language gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, quality time, or physical touch? Some of these are self-explanatory, like gifts. And guys, we're not talking, the ladies are not saying that you need to buy expensive gifts. That's not it. That sometimes the gift is symbolic of, I care about you. So I don't want you to get caught up in spending lots of money, because that's not what I'm talking about, and that's not what's being suggested from the love languages. But those gifts are oftentimes symbolic, and they're structured around a feeling. So when you give a gift to your lady, you are saying to her that you care, okay? Another is acts of service, and acts of service are really interesting because that could be just showing up and doing your share of the chores that you two have decided that each of you are going to take. That maybe you might do something for her that says, hey, I'm thinking about you. Hey, you know what? I was at Costco this week. I decided to do some of the grocery shopping, so that she knows that, oh wow, he's thinking about me. So those acts of service can oftentimes be, again, a symbolic gesture. It says, I care about you, I'm thinking about you. Another are words of affirmation. Words of affirmation are great. I love words of affirmation. It's just like, it could be an endearment, but it's also, hey, I really love that you did that for me, or you're so special, or I like the time that we spend together, you feel so good in my arms. All those things, they're little, it's not just compliments, they're statements about the value that your partner adds to your life. And it feels good, guys. Think about when, I always use this example in session, think about when you've held the door open for someone or done something nice for someone and they don't even say thank you. And you're like, something so small that a stranger doesn't do. So think about how much that's going to mean to your partner when you say thank you, or I like it when you do this, or it feels so good. So you're just showing gratitude simply. And words of affirmation can go a long way in expressing gratitude, but also telling your partner what you like about them. Another is physical touch. That our skin is our largest organ. We all know that, but man, oh man, do we forget to touch one another. It feels good. And remember that that's on a continuum. Some people like to be touched more than others, But if this is your partner and your partner likes to be touched, let's say that your partner just likes it when you kind of just caress her arm, then do that. If she doesn't like to be kissed on the neck, then don't kiss her on the neck. Just because you like certain things doesn't mean that she likes them. So pay attention to the way that she likes to be touched and whether she likes, more or less. Some people just don't like to be touched as much, and so maybe her thing is words of affirmation, right? So just paying attention to that's going to be important. And so we've gone over gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch. Last one, quality time. This is a biggie, guys. We are all inundated with work, and some of us with children, and we have hobbies, we may have aging parents. Our lives and our plates are so full that we forget that once we've gotten married, or once we know that that person is ours and they're in a committed relationship, we stop spending as much time with them. And why is that? Why are we not having more date nights? These are all things that if you're wanting your partner to, quote unquote, want to have more sex with you, then this is it, because you're also meeting your partner's needs, not just in the bedroom, but outside the bedroom. This is the key to a woman's heart. Again, it is just key. And so I want you to think about this, about whether you can use gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, quality time, or physical touch to meet her right where it counts, in her heart, guys. And so the other thing I like to talk about are your partner's needs. And I want you to think about needs in kind of two simplistic ways. Does she have a strong need for connection, or does she have a strong need for feeling that what she does for the relationship is acknowledged? And so, just for example, I have a client who does a lot. She does a lot for her partner, and she really likes having that acknowledged. And she doesn't need to have it acknowledged in a very big way. It's just a little, hey, I noticed that you did this. And some people don't even care to have that need acknowledged. They just want to make sure that you're not spending all your time pointing out what they haven't done. So if you know that your partner's need is they feel good about what they bring to the relationship, then you can do a couple of things. You can either acknowledge it using some of the 5 love languages, or you can simply kind of let them know in a way that feels good to them. So sometimes it is just having, in a small way, just saying something like, this is so cool that we get to do this. You put so much work into this. And so you're meeting her need. Now, love languages are slightly different from needs. Love languages are how people like to have their sort of, how do I say this? They want to be loved in a particular way with the love languages. Whereas the needs are what they need to feel in the relationship. And I hope that makes sense. One is about how they want to be loved, and the other is what they need in the relationship. And so both of them, you could kind of look at those as needs, but I will tell you that having acknowledgement for what you bring to the relationship is super important. You would think that a lot of men need that, like, hey, I'm the provider, etc., but you'd be surprised how many women need that too, that, hey, I'm holding down the fort. I'm not only am I working, but I'm, raising our children, I'm doing all these things, I'm taking care of your elderly mother, that's a need to be acknowledged either verbally or non-verbally about what they bring to the relationship. So sometimes that isn't necessarily loving them in the way that they need to be loved. It really is kind of a core need to feel like they can move in the relationship. So they're slightly different. They're bedfellows, definitely. But the other need that people typically have on the other side of that is for connection. So that connection could be, and this does get into the love languages, they have a strong emotional need to connect with their partner. And you can use the love languages to make that happen. That need is so strong that even if you're acknowledging them for what they bring to the relationship, if they don't feel like they know you bone deep and that you've got this thing, it won't matter. So I want you to think about it this way, and I hope that you guys are getting the fundamental differences. 1, 5 love languages, use those to express your love to your partner. The other is, what is your partner's core basic need to feel good in the relationship? And you're going to use those things in order to meet your partner's needs outside the bedroom. So the need could be, again, really sort of acknowledging verbally or non-verbally what they bring to the relationship, and the other is meeting their needs for connection within the relationship. And so those are so important. And so sometimes those needs for connection are really sharing your thoughts and feelings with your partner, talking about what happened to you during your day, sending them a text message that says, hey, I'm thinking about you. So that's that connection. You're bringing them into your world on a day-to-day basis, and that feels really, really good. And so lastly, I want to talk a little bit about some things that you can do in addition to that are, again, bedfellows of loving your partner in the way they want to be loved, as well as meeting their core needs, but also helping romance, emotions, and not always seeking to have sex in intimate moments. That if your partner's changing, that you're not just talking about her breasts or her legs or some other body part, but you may be talking about a feeling that you have for her, about her heart, about her goodness, about something, and even using that core need. Like if your partner really wants to be known, that you say, it's so wonderful to just know you in this way, and I want you to know me too. That even though she's there and she doesn't have any clothes on, that you're talking about meeting her in that way, that you're connecting to her, or even talking about, oh wow, I just think it's so neat what you bring every day to work and how you're able to show up in this really powerful way. And so you're acknowledging her in a very, very different way, so that not every time she's taking off her clothes that you're seeking to bed her, or that you're seeking to comment on her body, which is also important. She wants to feel desired. She wants to know that you want to be with her too. So also being respectful about when and the timing. That if you know that your partner's had a hard day at work and she's changing, that you might say, hey, you know what, would you like a back rub? Or would you like your feet rubbed? That this is me just taking care of you. So it really is meeting her needs outside the bedroom that's going to have you win the points. And, ladies, I want to give you a caveat is when your partner's doing these things and your partner, he or she is showing you this love and they're saying, I want to meet you where you are, I want to meet your needs, but I also want to love you in the way that you need to be loved. And so I'm doing these things by not just focusing on your body, but focusing on your mind. That I don't want you to say something like, oh, I know that Chantel told you to do this and you're just doing it just because. Your partner has a choice. And if they're choosing to try to meet you in those moments, to love you the way that you want to be loved, to meet your core needs, then don't ding them for it just because they're trying. Thank them for trying for it, because this is not easy, and it doesn't come naturally maybe to your partner. So if they're watching this video with you, or alone and they're trying to do those things, then I think that that's a wonderful thing. And you should say, wow, I notice what you're doing. This really feels good. So make sure that you're also meeting your partner's needs and not rejecting them or not having them have to jump through 5 hoops in order to get you into the bed. I mean, it also goes both ways, right? But I'm just trying to give you all hints that it's not just about meeting your partner's needs in the bed, but also, come on guys, it's the obvious, ask her what she likes, what she wants done, what feels good, what she likes. And you know what? If she likes it that way every time, do it that way every time. If she wants to switch it up a bit. If she likes it when you, I don't know, kiss her for long periods of time before, then do that. If she likes foreplay, give her foreplay. You're saying, oh my gosh, it seems like she doesn't have a higher sex drive. No, it's because meet her love language, love her the way she wants to be loved so that she can love you back in that way, the way that you want to be loved. Meet her core needs and also do those things like date nights, foreplay, asking her what she likes. Man, guys, these are going to get you to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think to do that? A lot of these things you were doing in the beginning and they haven't been continued because our plates are so full. So really, guys, this is just to encourage you. This is to support you and to let you know that you're not the only one who has a sex drive, but a lot of the things you're going to be doing are outside the bedroom. I want to add a real caveat to the chores. You guys have heard me talk about this, that when they ask couples what were the most important things to a great relationship, they said number 1 was fidelity, meaning not having sex with anyone else or not having an emotional relationship with someone outside of the relationship. And I'm talking about one of those emotional relationships that are sexual, that's reserved for your partner. And also trust. But number 3, guys, was shared household chores. It is like a romance when your lady knows that you are doing the dishes and you say, hey, put your feet up. That feels good. It makes her feel loved. So make sure that you pay attention to that. Do those things that you were doing before. If you were planning dates, plan dates. If you brought her flowers, then bring her flowers. If you wrote her cute little notes, write her cute little notes. Go back to the drawing board. So guys, I hope this helps. Please send your comments. I'd love to address them. This whole video is based on a comment that I received, and so I hope this helps you. And also follow us on social media, guys. Send me your comments. Go to ChantelCohen.com. Book an appointment. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Chantel Cohen, and I hope you become one again.